स्वभावचिन्मयानन्दं कृपापूर्णं जगत्पतिं हरिषड्वर्गजेतारं नित्यानन्दगुरुं भजे। स्वभावचिन्मयानन्दम्
सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तं वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्. I welcome you all with my love and respects. Let's enter into today's sutra. Meditate on the make-believe world. Oh, this is the sutra I addressed yesterday, but there is a continuity of this sutra. I should have spoken on it yesterday, did not speak, so we will start from this and go to the continuity. Meditate on the make-believe world as burning to ashes and being above human. The continuity of this sutra is next sutra. Both techniques are connected to each other. Of course, they are independently, they can lead you to enlightenment. You don't need the help of the other technique, but both techniques are for almost same kind of a human beings. So you can pick up this one or the other one. As subjectively letters flow into words and words into sentences, and as objectively circles flow into words and words into principles, find at last these converging in our being. Before interpreting or explaining this sutra, I just want to tell you one experience. I read volumes and volumes, sometimes 5-6 volumes in 24 hours, one day. The disciples, they asked me, how do you read, Swamiji? This is the technique. This is the technique. Whenever I pick up, I read those lines, within few minutes, I can clearly feel the inner space gets connected to the person out of whose inner chattering those words came out. The author's mind, the author's inner space gets hooked up, connected, and straight away downloading starts happening. And you don't have to read line by line. You know the essence, what he wants to convey. Sometimes you know there is no essence and he has nothing to convey. Whatever, the whole thing will be revealed. Exactly, this is the sutra responsible for that experience. Let me read the sutra once more. As subjectively letters flow into words and words into sentences, and as objectively circles flow into words and words into principles, find at last these converging in our being. J. Krishnamurti became enlightened through this technique. That is why constantly you will see his teachings, his writings, his poetry, his books always will be expressing the present moment, having him as a center. Understand? One important truth you need to understand, whether you want or not, believe it or not, you are self-centered by existence. By your very nature, you understand everything, keeping you as a center. Now, do that same thing with understanding. Actually, when I tell people that you are self-centered, they have the shock and they feel, what? How can you say I am selfish? I am self-centered. Understand, I am not trying to hurt you or disrespect you by saying you are self-centered. Whatever you understand, you keep self only as the reference. A small story. One elderly man goes to the nearby village for some work. He comes back. When he is about to enter into his village, he sees his house is on fire. He shouts, rolls on the ground and cries. You know how the village people cry. He cries, "Oh, save me, save my house, my house is on fire, I lost everything, my life has gone." He had 4 sons. One son ran to him and said, "Father, don't cry, relax. Don't you remember yesterday only we sold that house?" Then he just caught up and wiped the tears and said, "Oh, then okay. I forgot." Second son runs to him and he says, "Father, yes, we sold, but we have not got the money." Then again, he's in fire and rolls on the ground and says, "Oh, save my house, save my house, save my house." He's shouting at the sons, "Go, run, put the fire off, save the house, our house is burning, save it." And within few minutes, the third son came to him and I said, No, Father, today morning I got the money is with me. Don't worry, we sold it. Then again this fellow got up, wiped the tears. Okay, then let it go, leave it, relax. Leave it. Understand? Same situation, same house burning, same person, same time. How mood swings he goes through. One moment he is in joy, he is relaxed, he is not touched, he is not bothered. It's okay, let it burn. The other moment, he is in the same fire. Not only house, he is also burning. He is running, he is crying. How? The mood swing. Same situation, same person, same time, within few seconds. How the human mind can go to this end to that end? Because of self. When he thought it is directly related to his self, his reaction is different. When he thought it is not directly related to his self, his reaction is different. That is why I tell you, your whole life, whether you understand or not, is self-centered. Your joy, your suffering, your everything, whatever you know is self-centered. Have the clarity to look at everything with this understanding that you are self-centered. Suddenly you will see this very understanding will relax you, unclutch you, things will not be able to touch you. If that man had the understanding, actually that situation, if he was aware, he could have had an enlightenment. He would have had the realization, oh God, the same house burning, same person, same situation, in 2-3 minutes, how my mood has swung, how my moods have changed, how my responses have changed, how my mind is playing. This means what? When I think it is mine, suffering. When I think it is not mine, the joy. Understanding the self-centeredness of your life brings you tremendous clarity. One more important thing, even as a deeper level technique, when you realize every statement, every word, everything uttered towards you reaches your center and makes meaning for you. When it touches yourself, only then it makes meaning for you. If you have that understanding, once try, when your family or spouse or friends or relatives talking to you, do not give any meaning. Just sit with the understanding, I am a self-centered being. All these words are reaching me and taking their own meaning and making me react to it without even my awareness. They are all reaching me and pushing me this side and that side without even me having any will to say yes or no. The moment he thought it is his house, he has no right to say, no, I will not cry. He has to cry. The moment he thought it is not his house, he has no will to suffer. He just has to be relieved, not bothered. Understand? You are not having any individual will. The words which are coming towards you, to your center, because you are not aware, you are self-centered, just pushes you or pulls you as it wants, makes you do things as it wants. It does not give you any freedom, does not give you any space, does not let you think or do anything. Just you are like a robot. Commands are given and you are working. If you can have the understanding, you are self-centered, suddenly you will see the quality of your response totally changes. The quality of your response plays a major role in creating a lifestyle. When I say living enlightenment, just changing the quality of response with the clarity of self-centered consciousness. Understand, you are self-centered. The moment you understand you are self-centered, you will not act self-centered. Now you act self-centered, but you don't understand you are self-centered. Acting self-centered is wrong, but being clear you are self-centered is not wrong. Because you are not being clear, you are not clear, you are self-centered, you are acting self-centered. You do so many foolish things. Not so many, practically everything. Foolish, because we don't understand, we are self-centered. This one story can give you the clarity. One old man, same man seeing the same house burning and different responses in few seconds. When he thinks it is his house, the response is different. When he thinks it is somebody else's house, the response is different. Mahadeva says, letters flow into words and words into sentences. Means the letters and words are flowing towards you. And objectively, circles flow into worlds and worlds into principles. All your principles, your ideas, your world, the inner software you created, the inner programming which you did from the young age, Mahadeva is saying, just add little awareness to that inner programming. Many times, your inner programming brings disease to you. You are programmed continuously from the young age. This will bring disease, that will bring uncomfort, that will bring problem. When those incidents happen, even if you don't have problem, you will be meditating and waiting for it. You will be waiting for it. Understand? Life solution is path for enlightenment. Here, when I talk, it may look like a life solution. It is not just a life solution. People ask me, Swamiji, your discourses are great. It carries a lot of life solutions. But what about techniques for enlightenment? Fools do not understand. Life solutions are techniques for enlightenment. I am not a psychiatric counselor. I am not giving you psychoanalysis or psychiatric counseling or some advice. No. All I am talking is healing your deepest self. Mahadeva, what he talks here, if it is practiced in the beginning, it will be a life solution. In the deeper level, it will be the solution for the whole life itself. It will be the technique for enlightenment itself. He says, the world's into principles find at last these converging in our being. It's like a layer by layer, how things come towards you, how it gets processed, and how you respond. Any message comes to your eyes first. The energy behind the eyes, the indriya, that starts converting that file into the biosignals, like how in computer all the informations are converted into digital signals, digital signal processor. The indriya behind the eyes, if you are hearing from, if you are getting signals through the ears, there is an indriya behind the ears. The same way, behind the eyes there is an indriya. They are called panchendriyas. Eye is not indriya, please understand. It is only a sense. Through eye something is seeing, that is indriya. Chakshu is indriya. Chakshu is the energy which is seeing through eyes. Eyes are just doors, openings. So that converts all the signals into biosignals. Then the file starts getting processed. It goes to chitta, where the no process is done. Then manas, where yes identification is done. Then that file is submitted to ego. Ego decides what is there for me in this file. That is what, that process only I call self-centeredness. For example, if you are sitting here, first the picture of me will be taken by your eyes. It will get converted as a biosignal by your indriya chakshu. It will go to chitta. Chitta will first analyze and say, oh, this is not an animal, this is not wood, this is not tree, this is not plant, this is not this, the neti, not this, process will be done. Then file will go to the manas. Manas will do the iti, this is it. He is a Swami, he is an enlightened person, he is wearing orange robe, he is sitting on a golden throne, he is sitting, there is a book in front of him. The iti, this. That identification process will be done by manas. Then the whole file will go to ego. Ego will decide what is there for me. Based on your ideas, all which went inside you, you will decide whether sitting here is going to be good for me or bad for me. You will decide. That decision only is going to be an important thing for you to be continuing to sit here or to go out. That decision is what I call self-centered. Self-centered decision, that process. What is there for me in this situation, in this file, in this process, that what is there for me? When you are aware that you are sitting with that self-centeredness, suddenly your response, your reactions, everything will become totally of a different quality. You will not be sitting and listening. Understand, the same work of sitting and listening for different reasons will create different effects. A small story. 3 mad fellows, they wanted that they should be released from the asylum. They go to the doctor and say, all 3 of us feel we are okay, send us out. We want to go back and live a normal life. Doctor says, tomorrow we will have an examination. After that we will decide. All 3 were called next day morning near a swimming pool, empty swimming pool. Doctor says, the first guy, jump. That guy jumps and breaks his leg. Empty swimming pool. The second guy is called. Doctor says, jump. That guy jumps and breaks his hands. And third guy is called. And doctor says, jump. He says, no, I will not jump. Doctor says, oh, that's great. You are healed. you are the right guy to go out. Now you can leave. You can go and live your normal life. Before that guy signed and about to leave, doctor asked, may I know, sir, the reason for you not jumping? He said, oh, I don't know swimming. Understand? Right action, wrong reason. So even if you are sitting here may be right action. But if it is for wrong reason, you will not have the right benefit which you need to have. So, if you are sitting with the clarity of the self-centeredness, means that with the clarity of the process which is happening in you, with the awareness of all files being brought to you and the process which goes on and which makes the decisions, you will see your quality of response is totally different. When Mahadeva says, find at last these converging in our being, he is asking you to be aware when the informations are received through your 5 senses and processed and brought to your self-center, the ego, and decision making happens. Just be aware, many times we make wrong decisions because we are not aware and being spontaneous to this moment. We are not aware how our being, self-centeredness, takes decisions. A small story from the Birbal, a very intelligent Brahmin, minister of Akbar, a very intelligent minister. Once the whole country was filled with rats. So the king has decided all the houses, people should have cat, and the king will take care of all the expenses. So all of them were given one cat. Every day morning 1 liter milk will be given to each house to take care of the cat. This poor Birbal, he thought, Arey, my kids do not have milk. Why will I use this milk on the cat? He started feeding the milk to the kids. Anyhow, somebody went and told king, all houses, they take the milk and feed the cat and take care of the cat. But your minister Birbal, just because he has so much influence over you, he does not feed the cats, he is feeding his kids. You should take care, because Birbal had a lot of competitors. Somehow they want to pull him down. Akbar says, how to now ask Birbal that are you feeding the cat or kids? These guys are telling we will have a competition that all of them should bring their cats to the kingdom, to the court and show. And next day king says, all of you should bring your cats and should show me. I wanted to see how you guys are bringing up your cats. Anyhow, next day everybody brought their cat. All the cats are very healthy because 1 liter milk per day. But this Birbal's cat is about to die. Almost just very vaguely alive or barely alive. And the guy is about to die because nothing is given to him. Rarely if he catches by himself 1 or 2 rat, he can eat. And if you don't have strength, how you will catch even the rat? Nothing is possible. Then king asks him, how dare you will treat your cat like this? After all, it is given by me, it is my guest, and I am giving you every day 1 liter milk. What are you doing? Birbal says, I don't know, king, but this cat does not drink milk. What can I do? King says, what? Cat does not drink milk. Let us see. They brought a cup of milk and kept. The moment that cat saw the milk, it started running. Birbal says, catch that cat. They brought the cat, literally forced, put the face inside the milk cup. The moment they took their hands out, it just jumped out and ran. If they tried to bring that cat near the milk pot or the milk cup, it starts shouting, crying. Everybody was surprised. Then Birbal says, King, see, that is why I am not giving milk. It's not that I am cheating you. The cat is like that. King was really surprised. How can a cat escape from milk like this and afraid of milk like this? Anyhow, King said, all right, Birbal, you have not done any mistake. So the court, he said to the court, nothing wrong is done. No punishment for Birbal, over. Court ended. Next day, he slowly asked Birbal, I know for sure you have done something. And I know for sure you want to teach a lesson to me. Tell me exactly what you want. What do you want to tell? Then Birbal says, King, don't you see the whole kingdom is suffering in poverty and you are asking everybody to feed 1 liter milk to cats, which are useless. And after all, the problem of rats is nothing. In few days they will disappear. Even if they are there, there is nothing to eat, then what are they going to do? They will die by themselves. Akbar says, yes, I understand. But how did that cat become like that? Tell me that secret. Birbal says beautifully, all I did is, King, only once I heated the milk so hot and kept in front of the cat. Once that fellow came and put the mouth and burnt himself. From next day, the moment he sees that color, he runs. Understand? When King kept the milk, it was not hot milk. It was cold milk. The cat could have drunk. This guy could have tasted. But because of the earlier experience, the moment he sees that color, he runs. Understand? Not just that cat. We also take so many decisions the same way without awareness. We are also in many places cats running from the milk. Cats escaping from the milk. You are not aware of the decision-making mechanism which is continuously functioning with unconscious or unaware way. How so many experiences which you had with the hot milk is driving you away from the cold milk which is in front of you. When Mahadeva says, be aware, he is asking you to be spontaneous. Do not be cat. Do not be the cat. Do not be making decisions just like that old cat. No. Then you have to be fasting on practically dying. Be aware every moment how the information reaches you, how the chitta is doing the process, manas is doing the process. Because it happens in a very short time, you need a sharp awareness, subtle intelligence to be a witness. Especially important thing you need to be aware is the decision making, that click, that self-centered decision making, when the self decides what is there for me. Understand? A right strategy planning about you and your relationships and your life and business is enlightenment. Right strategy planning will happen, when I say the word right, it will change continuously for you. It will change continuously for you. When Buddha says right listening, right understanding, right talking, right action, he means continuously be aware of that self-centered space where decisions are made. I tell you, many times you come back and repent. I should have told that, especially after having a good fight with your spouse. After having a good fight with your spouse, if you sit alone, the whole thing you will just rewind and see, do the corrections. I should have told this point, I forgot. 3 years ago she did the same thing, I forgot that point. 2 days ago again she made the same mistake, I forgot this point. You will sit and revise. You will be sitting and repenting. You will be sitting and changing all your decisions. You will be sitting and feeling, I did not decide properly, because you lost your balance. You are only bothered about just violently expressing what you feel. You did not bother about convincing, responding properly to the other person. Understand? A person who is aware of that center where decisions are being made will always be successful. Will always be successful. Can never be a failure. After my enlightenment, very strange incident. After my enlightenment, I was resting for a few days in the banks of Ganges in Calcutta. So one person came and he asked me, you are always sitting silently from morning till night. Why don't you help me by saying few words about Upanishads? I want to know. I said, all right, come tomorrow. I'll try to say few words. Next day he came. Somehow, some strong experience from inside downloaded the ideas or whatever about Upanishad, and I started saying few words. Maybe I can say this is the first discourse I delivered on the banks of Ganges. And the person really enjoyed it. It was half-an-hour discussion. And I didn't know that he is a very influential local leader. He went and brought a whole bunch of people, something like 100 people, next day to listen. I said, oh God, what is happening? Because to tell you honestly, I was a shy person. You may not understand. The only video clipping we have of me before enlightenment is there, in some family festival, family function, some marriage. I'm attending the function. They are trying to turn the camera towards me and I am saying, no, turn that side, turn that side. I think that is why my whole life is now I am spending in front of camera. Turn that side. And I myself got surprised when I saw recently that clipping. Oh God, what kind of a person has turned into what kind of a person? When he brought 100 persons, I got shocked. What to talk now? One person, a personal conversation is different. That's why I brought these people. Anyhow, I started telling whatever I feel as a truth. One elderly Pandit, well read. As usual, the only work they have is going and disturbing others. They do not have any other creative work, you see. The Pandits do not have any other creative work. And all they will do is, they will go around and as if God gave them the responsibility of keeping people honest. And they will take charge of everything in their hand and go around and interfere in everybody, with everybody's life. This guy came. The moment he entered the space, we were sitting under a big tree on the banks of Ganges. The moment he entered, he shouted, "Hey Baba, you can make these few fools listen to you, not intelligent persons like me. Can you make persons like me to listen to you?" I just said, "Can you come near?" He came near. He thought that I did not listen what he said. I just only moved my head and said, "Can you come this side?" He came near. Then I just said, can you come this side? And I just showed the head this side, and he came near. And when he was about to reach me, I just turned the head this side, and he came this side. Then I told him, understand, now you already obeyed me 3 times. Sit and listen. You listened to me 3 times. Now please sit and listen. Later on, one important thing, this incident happened. And he was shocked. He was really shocked. I told him, understand, you can cheat or disturb the people who are not aware of the process happening inside. The person who is aware of the process which is happening inside can never be caught, can never be imbalanced, can never be cheated, can never be shaken. This incident happened. Later on, I had the time to read one Zen book. I read exact incident has happened in another enlightened master's life. Some Zen master, few hundred years ago, exactly same way, one Pandit trying to come and disturb his lecture, and he did the same thing of making him go through zigzag and saying, it seems you are a very good person, you listened to me already 3 times, sit and listen. See, a person who is living spontaneously, who is aware of this process which is happening inside, where the decisions are made, will never be a failure, will never fail. A Pandit will always be failure because he may know what all decision to make, but he will not know how the decisions are made. He may execute, he may reproduce, he may obey. Philosophers are intellectual, obedient students. Understand? They are intellectual slaves. They just carry somebody's words in their head and vomit on somebody else. Naturally, when you eat something and vomit it out, the quality will be a little different. Same way, when you put something in your head and vomit, the quality will be a little different. That smell, you can call it as your own unique contribution. Your own unique contribution or your own unique representation. That's all. Nothing else. Understand, philosophers do not know how to take decisions because they are not aware of the zone where decisions are made. Being aware of the zone where the decisions are made is living enlightenment. Here, this is the Nitya Sutra, means you have to understand, internalize, and be aware whole day during all your activity. During all your activity. If you are spontaneous, if you are living in the zone where the decisions are being made, if you are aware, the master's presence will be useful to you. Even one moment you get around me, it will be straight away useful. Understand? Whenever you come in front of the master, be aware of the decision-making zone. You will feel so deeply connected, and the time which you spend around him will be useful to you. It will be directly useful to you. You will use him properly. I have seen fools coming around me and wasting their time and my time. It's not that they are wrong people, just unawareness. Today, I was sitting in the temple. One devotee came near and asked me, "Can I ask you something?" I said, "Okay." Very rare chance of getting few minutes around me, especially personally, directly. The person could have asked something useful. That person asked, "This is some Meenakshi, where is the parrot?" I just thought, she asked about some goddess, some deity, and where is some parts of the deity. I just thought, oh God, what a mess, what a missing. Understand, when you get a rare chance, be clear, be in the center where decisions are made, and use that moment. If that person has something directly useful for her life or his life or their life, I would have surely responded. I would have said, yes, I'll heal you or take care or some counseling or something. The moment would have been useful. What is there in that? That whole thing is just a game to inspire some people. And if you are inspired, get inspired. If you are not inspired, okay, forget about it. When you are not aware of the decision-making zone, even the few beautiful moments which you get near the master, you will waste it. It won't be directly useful to the life. That is why I always take care that I do not waste my time near the people who are not exactly aware of the decision-making center. Sometime, even my Swamis ask me, Swamiji, after all you are sitting relaxed way, why don't you see the people who are coming and bless them? I tell them, fools, you don't know. Now at least I am wasting only my time. If I start seeing them, I'll waste their time also. Because they do not know exactly the decision-making center. They are not aware of the decision-making center. They will ask some foolish thing. They will ask something, why the steps are 7 steps? Why don't you have 3 steps? Why did they put that yellow tape? Why not it should be red tape? Wasting time, my time and their time. They do not know or they are not aware exactly what to ask or what to do. The awareness on the decision-making center is important thing even to use the opportunities happening in your life. Then I told her, you talk to the priests, all these things, they will answer you. They will answer you. Understand? It's not that she has done something wrong, but she has wasted. She has wasted one moment, which could have been used for so many other better things. Be centered on the place where the decisions are made. Then you will not waste things which are happening around you, which are happening in front of you. It's rare opportunities. Understand, not only the outer world things, even the master's presence is very rare opportunity. When it happens in front of you, be aware of the decision-making center. You will see you are using best. You are taking the maximum advantage out of his presence. Understand this sutra and imbibe it. Let it flow in your life 24 hours and you will see you will be living enlightenment. Let's gather for next session for next sutra. Thank you. Let's gather for next session. Thank you.